Just want to say thank you all first for just coming on here. This is our demo day of Quickture. So today I'm going to demo Quickture. Some of you have used it before, some of you have heard of it, maybe some of you saw it on LinkedIn. But our goal is today just to introduce Quickture, see what it does. On our intake form, I know I asked kind of what you work on. We have a variety of people in here. Some are in marketing, unscripted, documentary, definitely some promos, trailers, all great stuff that Quickture can help with. So um, I'm gonna let I know we'll let people in the waiting room as they come in. We do have some of our Quickture team here, including I'm going to introduce Matt Hanna. He is one of the co-founders and chief strategy officers.
Hey everyone, nice to see everyone. I'm a longtime reality TV producer. That's how Quickture got started. Because Erod, who's the founder, we worked together for a long time, and so built this tool to hopefully solve what we found to be the biggest problem facing unscripted reality TV, documentary, news, sports, which is that we overshoot everything, and it takes a really long time to get to that rough cut, to get to that rough assembly. And so we built a tool that does just that. And so we're excited to show you that. What I think is also interesting is that we're solving a lot of problems along the way. We're solving problems in the beginning of the process, including world-class transcription. We're also solving problems on the end of the process, which VK will get into on this demo as well. The heart and soul of it, though, is the middle of the process, the actual editing. And I think we're building a tool that will help you guys in your world. I think it's very intuitive to the world, and I think that's because Erod has sort of lived the problem, and he's sort of our chief architect and the leader of the group. And at the same time, I think a lot of you guys know this, and if you don't know it, we're also happy to share. But like, it's being used in production right now across the world, from Australia to Germany to the United States. People are using it in production every day. It's deployed, it's working, and so we're happy to help you get you started, get you up to speed. And I think Demo Day is a great way for VK to kick that off.
So Quickture is a plugin based in Avid, which is in the extensions or tools menu. In Premiere, it'll be in the Windows and extensions menu. So it'll just pop up just like this. It's really convenient. And right now, Quickture is sequence based. So you're going to bring all of your footage in just like you normally would. You'll sync it, you'll have it prepared in your bins. And what you'll do, you'll add everything to a sequence. So right here, I have this interview of a woman named Gabby. It's about 45 minutes long. This is multicam. It has multiple channels of audio. Quickture will preserve all of these tracks and in video and audio, but it'll only work off the top video channel and it's going to mix down the audio channels. So once you have this, you'll actually, oh, sorry, I think I'm getting a little bit of an echo. There we go. So you'll see the Quickture panel pop up. So here's where the Quickture magic starts. So from this sequence, we're going to start the transcription process. So the transcription process, you have multiple modes of interview biography if they're talking about themselves, or interview topical if it's a topic. Scene is more of a general mode of transcription. Full episode is either a finished episode or maybe a finished cut, and then comedy or news. Your transcript itself will always be accurate. We're known to have some of the most accurate transcriptions in the industry. This helps for the story part. Then you have an option if you have, let's say, 10 plus speakers. Maybe you have an unscripted show with a lot of people in one scene. You can check this button. Vision, which I'll go over in a little bit, is for a visual analysis of footage. Since this is an interview, I'm not going to use that. And then auto label is we'll skip a labeling process and it'll automatically label the speakers in the interview. So in this one, her name is Gabby. If she introduces herself or she's identified, Quickture will automatically put that in. I'll show you what happens without it too. And then up here are your menu options. So we also offer multiple languages right here, including multiple languages, but you can select a language that you prefer right here. You can also select your UI language. So if you're in another country, you can select how you want your user interface to look. And then I'll go over the other options as we come along. But I'll share two more options. One is project description. So if you have your project, let's say you're working on a series or a documentary, you go to project description and you can paste it right here from any of your documents. You also have an option right here for custom vocabulary. So this is where you can add, let's say you have a name, let's say for Gabby, it could be spelled Gabby or IE. You can put in character names. You can put in certain maybe jargon or maybe some slang or maybe some specific terms for your show. You can put that into custom vocabulary. I put in city names because sometimes city names can may be misspelled a different way. You can add all of that into custom vocabulary. Just a great way to set up your project. So once you do that, you'll hit next. And the great thing is Quickture works in the background. So you can still work in Quickture, or you can still work in Avid or Premiere. Now, if you're working in Premiere, Media Encoder will open up the first time if you don't have it open, but it still works in the background. So right here, Quickture is going to upload the media. It's going to create a small MP3 because we're doing audio transcription and encode it and start analyzing it. If you go to this menu right here, the sidebar, you'll see the progress of everything. This is the activity monitor. You also can search any sequences that you've been processing. This is my demo project, so I have a lot of sequences, but you can search right here for anything you've had that's gone through Quickture. So this is, let's say, a Hell's Kitchen, if I want to search for that. Now, what you'll get in about 3 to 4 minutes is a full transcript. So there was one button that we had that said auto label. If you do not select auto label, you go to this screen where you can identify the speaker. You can relabel Gabby to IE if it was misspelled. Maybe interviewer is actually a producer. You also have the option of doing this later if you wanted to. The great thing with auto label is it brings you here, and now you get into kind of the best parts of Quickture of how to get it working. So you get a full summary of the interview. It's really, really accurate and really detailed. You also get notes on the interview quality. You also get this transcript. You get this transcript in a traditional format right here. You get this in a format called with these story beats. So I'm going to close that for a second. And these story beats will have beat scores. So by default, we selected interview biography. And this had beat scores with biographical, emotion, humor, and spiciness. Spiciness because this is a reality TV show. You can customize these. So let's say you're working on a show about cooking. Maybe it doesn't have as much biographical moments. So you can have a specific topic. Maybe you want that beat score to be about cooking, or maybe you want that beat score to be about their culinary training. You can customize those beat scores right here in custom beat scores. But what this does is right here, we know Gabby introduces herself. That has a high beat score. Gabby and the crew talking, a low beat score. Quickture doesn't eliminate anything. You actually still have your entire transcript right here. It just gives you a great way to see your story broken down into these story beats. And another great part of Quickture is that you get transcripts on your actual hard drive. So in your Avid projects folder or your Premiere projects folder, you get transcripts. So if you go to transcript preferences, you get all these transcripts right here. So as an Excel file, a text file, you get SRT caption files that you can use later. You can use later on. You can even edit them if you need to. So you get all of these on every time Quickture makes a sequence, you get all of these transcript files. So that's the main part of the transcript. But what I'm going to show you next is the visual transcript, because I know I teased that button. So right now, that was an interview. So an interview, I didn't really need the visual part. But what I have here is some zoo footage from the San Diego Zoo. I just downloaded this from the internet. And I have it in my sequence here. I'm going to go to scene, or you can even go to full episode. This only has one narrator. I'm going to select vision and auto label. So when you select vision, Quickture will do a visual analysis of the footage. You'll still get an audio analysis if there's audio, but the visual analysis is what is the main part of this. So once you select next, you'll actually see something appear. So an hour of footage takes about maybe 7 minutes for visual transcription. And you get a summary as long as there's audio. If there's no audio, you won't get that summary, but you will get this transcript, which looks familiar. But you also get this button right here for a visual transcript. So we did not tell Quickture to do anything, but Quickture was able to identify the animals. You can even search for, let's say, a zoom. Oops, did not find that zoom for a second, but let's find lion. So it found the lion right here. It'll also find statues of the lion. If there's text, Quickture will read all the text that's in the footage as well. But what you get up here in this magnifying glass is a visual search tool. And it's really powerful. So I did search for the word sexy, which I'll show you later. Um, so I have elephant, which I searched for. I can search by sequence, bin, or project. So if I search for, let's say, lion in this one, Quickture is going to search just this sequence for any lion footage. So we have the lion here. You have statues of a lion down here and the statue here. Now, what you can do, you can click on it to get to it in the sequence. You can also select them. Let's say these are your favorite lion shots. You can go up here and you can add markers to it, to the sequence. But what I love is you can add them to a bin. So I can have my lion faves, and Quickture will create a bin with that. So now I have a new bin right here, down here, with my lion favorite shots that I selected. Just a great way if you're looking to, let's say you're working on a crime show and you know there's certain scenes that you really need, certain shots you really need to have, some B-roll shots you want to have. Maybe you want the sunset, maybe you want this. You can have that. You can have a bin of that. Now, the reason why you see sexy is probably because in Transcript, I searched the entire project. You can search the dialogue. So let's say you have 100 sequences and you're looking for a specific word or phrase from the character. I can search that word, say it's that. Quickture will pull up every single time that's said. So it's a great way if you're looking for specific words, phrases. You can click on it and Quickture will find those sequences if they're still in your project. I'm going to close that. And that's kind of the basics of the transcript mode. And that's how Quickture gets started. So if you have any questions, you can ask me or you can put in the chat because I'm going to go on to the editing functions next. So next, I'm going to move on to our edit modes. And this is where a lot of the Quickture, this is where a lot of this Quickture magic happens. We have 3 editing modes. We have auto edit, guided edit, and multi-edit. So auto edit is kind of the simplest of the forms. Auto edit works based off of time and speakers. So this is very useful if you have a 6-hour interview and you're looking for, let's say, just a string out of just an 8 cut of just the interview. This would be my sequence. I'm going to remove the crew member because I don't need them. I can move this down to 38 minutes, or sorry, 35 minutes. Hit auto edit and Quickture will give me just that 35 minutes of Gabby's interview. So I've already eliminated the gaps and the 20 minutes. Now I could also go to, let's say, a 5-minute. Maybe I want the best 5 minutes of this interview. Quickture will create this edit for you based off of the interview biography mode and create a 5-minute cut for you. Now, this has been useful for, let's say, casting agencies when they have a lot of tapes to process. They need the best 5 or 10 minutes from each tape just to get moving because there's so much footage. Quickture will just be able to create this for you. And once you hit auto edit, I'll let that go. You'll get something within a few minutes that looks like this. So right here, this is your new sequence. It is about 5 minutes and 14 seconds. So we try to get there within a minute. This is the sequence that Quickture created based off of this. Here's your response note and auto edit to 5 minutes. You also get the transcript right here. So you know, okay, these were the points that it made in within this 5 minutes. You have the option to add markers, 1 per line or 1 per paragraph. You can export the transcripts again. We do have whenever Quickture creates a sequence, you have now a new transcript based off of this. You can further go, and in every mode, you can go refine edit. So maybe you want this 45 seconds. Maybe you want to add something. This is where you would go and just refine it and make it something you want to have. So that's what auto edit would do. Next, I'm going to go to guided edit. Now, guided edit and multi-edit are very similar. Guided edit, they both require the prompting part, which is fairly new for editing. I mean, we kind of all do it through maybe a Gemini or ChatGPT, and this is what kind of the what Quickture uses. So guided edit will work off of one sequence. Multi-edit works off of multiple sequence. So let's say in guided edit, we can start here, and Quickture, based off of the transcript, will offer suggestions. So let's see right here, for wildcard rising, identity and survival. These are sample prompts that Quickture that you can create. But let's say you don't want that. You have the option in all the modes to attach a script. So you can, let's say you have an outline or a full script. Quickture was just finishing up one of the auto edits. You can attach that script or outline, and you can prompt Quickture to say create an edit based off of this attached outline or script. And Quickture will create the edit. You can put the time in there as well. You can say make it 5 minutes. Maybe Act 2 you want it to be really short, 6 minutes. So you can say make 6 minutes. Or let's say you're just not familiar with this interview. Maybe the producer handed it to you and you just don't know, there's no outline to it. You can actually develop your story into here. We have two modes called discuss and edit. Discuss is our chat mode of where you develop your story. So I could type create an outline of the 5 funniest, I should spell that better, 5 funniest moments. Go right here. And now Quickture is going to work and create an outline of the 5 funniest moments. Now you can go and further prompt this once this is done and say, actually put something serious in it. Make it this way. You could, just like you would prompt any other conversation. But right here, we have our 5 funniest moments. Now, if we like it, we can go to edit right here and just type in edit this. Now Quickture will create the edit based off of these 5 moments. Now, a common question is, how does Quickture know what's funny? And the truth is, well, our engineers are doing a lot of work in the background to make sure, Quickture understands your prompts. That's where the editors needed. We do need you to make sure, hey, these are not only the funniest moments, but this is what you need. Now, we do get a lot of feedback from editors and customers saying, hey, this was really good, because if you have 6 hours of an interview, you might forget which ones were the funniest moments because it's such a long day. The producer's shooting something. Quickture will be able to find all of these moments that maybe it's a small moment that was forgotten. Quickture's going to find that for you. So you go to edit, you click the blue button, and Quickture will create a new edit. So in this one, within about 2 or 3 minutes, Quickture created this edit. So this is the result from the guided edit. So we have response notes. So you can see this was create a sequence. These were the 5 funniest moments. This is your transcript from those moments. You have it in a traditional format here. You have it broken down into these story beats, and you have it on your hard drive. You can keep going and you can further refine it. You can make it 2 minutes long with the top 3 moments. You can also use these smoothing settings. So if you want it to be kind of really tight, maybe without any handles, you go to off. If you want it chunkier, so if you want a lot of handles, you'd go to chunk. So you'd get a lot more handles, you get a lot more of that sentence in there. So then you'd just start cutting down from it. It's really up to your preference. A lot of people leave it at medium just to get started till they're more familiar with it. And it can be a case-by-case basis. So that's guided edit. Quickture did create a fully cut sequence with these moments here. Now I'm going to go to our multi-edit. So multi-edit is probably, to me, the most popular edit format because you're going to take multiple sequences and create the story from there. So I actually just did a demo recently where a company sent us all of the interviews of episode 1 of their new show. They sent the outline. So we went to multi-edit, we put the outline in there, and Quickture was able to take all these interviews, probably about 12 hours worth of interviews, and create act by act the interview, the outline for it, or the edit for it. So in this one, I'm going to show you, this is a show called Stage Moms. So we have interviews from all of these women here. One feature I forgot to show you is Quickture can batch process interviews, which is very useful. So let's say you have your interview selected here. I've done 50 at a time. You can do probably 100 at a time. You select all your sequences. I can go to apply all, hit auto label, select my mode, hit next, and then Quickture will process all of these in the background. You can do them overnight. You can do them like literally in the background. So this is a great way of just processing footage while you're still working in Avid or Premiere. Yes, it does work in Premiere as well. So let me go back to multi-edit. So in multi-edit, I have interviews from these 5 women right here that were batch processed through Quickture. And I gave it a prompt. So I'm going into here. I go to multi-edit. Now in multi-edit, I did a couple of things. Now, if you have your script, you can attach it right here. You can also paste in your script as well. So let's say it's in an email and you just want to paste it in. You can say create an edit from these producer notes. Make it 12 minutes long, focus on these points. But let's say you just don't know what's in the interviews. Everything, I see your question, everything does have to be in a sequence. So all of these are sequences. So if you look here, these are sequences with the interview. So let me go back to multi-edit right here. So in multi-edit, my first prompt was find the most common themes from these interviews. Now, how you get started in multi-edit, you go down here to set your active sequences. So the sequence you selected is included. I'm going to select, I labeled SM, and I'm going to select my interviews. So I'll have 4 more sequences. So I have a total of 5 sequences it'll pull from. I can select active speakers. So if I don't want, for some reason, I don't want this person, I can deselect them. And then we have the option of example sequences. So if you're working on a series, you can process, let's say you love episode 1, or maybe it's from a previous season, process that through Quickture in a sequence and set that as an example sequence. You'd select it here. And what Quickture will try to do is find the pacing from that sequence and match it to its next output. We have customers using it this way when they're working on a series. It's very popular, just a very good way of kind of being more efficient at your work. So once I have my active sequences here, my first prompt was find the most common themes from these interviews. Let's say I knew nothing about these interviews. Now Quickture found these themes. So it's going to search, it found sacrifice, found all these 5 themes. 6 themes. You can go further and say, find a few more. I know Cheryl talked about this one topic, find that. You can go in further and do that. Otherwise, what I did was create a montage of the women talking about moving to Los Angeles or what it's like living in or near Los Angeles. Make it high energy. You can even prompt it to say, this is for a specific network. This is for a certain style. I'm going to post this through YouTube and I need it to look really high energy, like we have asking here, or say I need it to be very slow paced and let every moment really breathe. You can type all of that in there. Like I said, prompting is something, even for myself, I take prompting lessons to see how much more detail we can put in. The more you put in, kind of the better stuff you'll get out of it. So what you get out of this now this is probably like 5 hours of interview. So it's going to take about 11, maybe 11 minutes, maybe 10 minutes really. You'll get a new sequence. So this was my final result of the sequence. Once again, you get response notes up here. You also get the transcript right here. And there our topic was about Los Angeles. You get this entire transcript as a traditional transcript. Now, if I go through here, let me take off that layer. I have interviews from every single person. I'm going to play just a little bit for you. And it made it about 5.5 minutes long. So I'm just going to play a segment of it for you.
So I packed the family up and I moved us all out here so that we could pursue their dreams with the right people intact.
So we're in the mecca of where the entertainment thrives.
Well, in lieu of the fact that my children wanted to go into acting and singing, well, the entertainment world is in Los Angeles. So I figured we may as well start getting their feet wet while they're young.
But we knew that if we needed to take her career to that next level, we'd have to make the move. Because there's only but so much you could do on the East Coast. What are you going to do? Law and Order for the rest of your life? Or what is that? NYPD Blue or whatever. Anyway, that. We need to get her into movies.
We're actually from Arizona. I am out here sacrificing.
So you'll see this follows this transcript right here, and they're going to continue speaking. You can go further refine this. You can also go back to that original sequence and say, you know what, this isn't not exactly what we wanted. Let's enter a new prompt and try something else. So the more specific you get, the better prompt you get. If there's certain lines you want, like I really want Cheryl to talk about this one specific incident, add it to the end of it, Quickture can add it to the end of it. And that's how multi-edit works. I'm going to show you one more edit mode, or probably two more edit modes. So one of my favorite edit modes is a feature called minis. So I have right here the puppy bowl. And the puppy bowl is obviously adorably cute. It's something played around the Super Bowl time. It's dogs playing football. So just download this off the internet. In my transcription mode here, I'm going to select full episode and select auto label. And the reason is once you select that, you get a new button called minis. Minis is available in full episode mode. Now what minis does is create right here minis for social clips or short segments from finished episodes. So if you have your finished episode and maybe you want to create 3 or even up to 8 at a time, you can actually process this multiple times to do more. You can actually create that as a mini episode. You can choose speakers, you can choose your example sequence, and you can type your prompts in. So maybe your first prompt is, I want a mini focused on Jason. I want the second mini focused on corgi dogs. I want the third mini to be a highlight reel. I want the fourth mini to focus on when the puppies, or when the kids interact with the puppies. So you put that in, you can put a time limit. So I need them all to be about a minute long, and Quickture will create that. This works off of one sequence. So it has similarities to guided edit, but it's specifically with this because you can also prompt, this is for YouTube, this is for Instagram. Quickture's not going to resize it or reframe it, but Quickture will know, okay, if this is for YouTube or Instagram, it might know your audience a little bit better because you can enter information about my audience is going to be 18 to 30-year-old males who enjoy football or whichever. And you can add that in there. So this is where the detail happens. And what you get as a result is here. So my response notes, my mini 1 was about corgi dogs. My mini 2 was about touchdown moments. And my mini 3 right here is our highlights right here. So this is the overall transcript with the 3 topics. And if you look here, you know, my markers are black in Avid. It made markers here by each topic. So Quickture now created this mini within just a few minutes based off of that finished episode. And I'll tell you, so if you're in a situation where you have a MAM of, let's say, 12 seasons of a show, you can process that all through Quickture. You can create minis from all of them and keep that archive because maybe you don't need all 12 seasons right now. You get your transcript, you can create your minis, and you have at least something from each episode. So that's one way that can be used for kind of an archival situation. So those are our edit modes. I'm going to show you one more thing for features, but does anybody have any questions on kind of the edit modes? I do know I went over a lot of stuff, and it's, of course, if you don't have Quickture in front of you, sometimes it may seem like a lot, but once you kind of put it together, you kind of realize it's very intuitive and it's made for post-production. So if you have any questions, you can ask it now in the chat or later. I'll leave it to you. Let me just save this. Okay. Well, then I'm going to go to the next thing. So next thing is kind of upcoming features that Quickture has. So Quickture, some of these are included, some of these are still upcoming, and just show you different things Quickture can do. So with sports, I have a rugby game here. Put that entire thing to Quickture. I've had basketball games and that type of thing. I use Vision right here. It's going to load, the visual transcript will load up. And from here, you can search for any time they score. If there's a particular player that's already known, Quickture can identify that. And one thing I always want to clarify is Quickture, it does not learn or train off of your footage. But if there's someone who's famous or already in these LLMs, Quickture will know who it is. Let's say in basketball, it would know probably everyone on Team USA, or let's say like LeBron or somebody. It would already know who they are. It's not doing facial recognition in that type of way. So it's really helpful, and I would wish this would show up because it did earlier. And let me see if I could search here. So I'm going to search here for, let's say if it has score, because I'm going to see if it loads up. So right now it couldn't find those thumbnails, but maybe because it's not loaded up yet. But what it will do is find everything that's part of this. So in here, there is a famous player. I don't remember her name off the top of my head, but Quickture identified her. Oh, it's this woman. So if you want to find all the shots of Kayla McAllister, Quickture could find those shots. So if you need Kayla McAllister scoring or making a big move, Quickture can find that for you. Now, let's say you have animated footage. Some of you worked on scripted shows. So what Quickture can do, this is Curious George, which is a famous cartoon. And Quickture, just through a basic analysis, identified all of these characters. And the reason why I bring it up is some of these characters are kind of hard to identify, and Quickture identified all of them. So from here, you can actually create a trailer, best of moments, make a short about just Curious George and maybe Chef Piscetti. So in that way, even your scripted shows, let's say you're making a trailer from a movie, and you're looking for specific shots. Maybe you're using it for gunshots. Quickture can visually identify those gunshots and pull those together for you, and just help you assemble your show. So whether it's scripted or unscripted, Quickture can help you out. A really great feature is, and we all have done it, I think many of us, I know I've done it, are cue sheets. So I put together this just sample cue sheet right here. So let's say you're on a finished episode and you have 40 tracks of 40 different music items, and someone has to log those. And that someone is someone who doesn't really want to do that. You can go into guided edit, and I can tell Quickture right here, my prompt is create a music cue sheet with time code start and end in the file name, make this an Excel file, use audio tracks 1 through 4. If you have a template, you can actually attach the template with it. And Quickture will create this for you. So this is what Quickture created, this Excel spreadsheet. I'll actually open it and show you. And this was just a very basic prompt. You can see from here, Quickture created just the file name, the track number, time code start, and duration of it. It can also do this for picture as well. So if you have to do a visual one off of V1, you'll still have to collapse the tracks yourself, but Quickture is going to be able to create a cue sheet from that. We're also working on a way to visually describe it. So you can have another column right here that'll give the visual description of every shot from there. If you're looking for like an S&P report, maybe you're looking for specific nudity, Quickture is going to be able to identify that. That is just, to me, a great feature because no one really loves doing cue sheets. One other feature that's about to come out is a graphics generator. Now, we're not, like I said, we're not generative AI. We're not just generating random things. This is a generator. So let's say I'm going to go to guided edit. And if you have to make temp lower thirds, maybe temp title cards. So you can go into title tool, you can go into probably Photoshop or even Premiere title tool, you can create them, of course. But what you have here is I told Quickture to create a lower third graphic for the following names, use Comic Sans font so we could see it, and a pink color. So this was that Stage Mom show. So the reason I'm showing you this is, so I put in Cheryl, funny mom, Lexi, Los Angeles, Tina, former actress. Quickture is actually going to, actually, it told me, say, hey, these names don't even match your transcript. So Quickture is there to help you too. It's saying, hey, are you sure you want to do this? Do you want it animated? Do you want it static? I said animated, and identified that there's no one named Tina. So I said, well, that's actually Taylor. And what Quickture was able to produce within just a few minutes are these three options. So it generated these three animated lower thirds. So let me see if it'll load up in our Comic Sans font. And this feature will become better and better. So you'll be able to eventually attach maybe a Mogurt or maybe your style guide to specifically get what you want. You can also prompt it to say, you know what, I don't like, I want it static, or let's see on this one, I want 5 more emojis. So you can keep asking Quickture to kind of go further with that. That feature is not out yet. It will be out soon. I know everyone's excited about it because it's just something you have to add constantly, and then you have to revise it later on. But Quickture will create that. I can hit import, and Quickture is going to put those as files in my bin, and then you can cut them in. So that is my overview of Quickture. I know, like I said a lot. It's been about 40 minutes of this demo. If anyone has any questions, feel free to ask us. I think some of you have seen Quickture at NAB. We will be at IBC in September and other events. We do work obviously well with Avid and Premiere. Another question we get is, will it work with Resolve? It's something we might work on probably later on as we develop the software more. There's not a standalone version of Quickture that works fully right now, but that's something that's on our feature request list. One thing I always want to say is in Avid, Quickture requires 2024.12. So I know some facilities, it takes a little bit of time to upgrade some Avids. I get it, because once you have a stable Avid, you don't want to mess with it. But you will have to at least upgrade that part. Premiere doesn't seem to have an issue with 2024 and keep going. I have 2025 Premiere on my system and 2026. If you go right here, this is actually our chat window in the app. You can chat with us. You can even search for, you can request a feature. You can chat with us here. You can chat with the AI bot to search our help library. I am not an AI bot. So you can speak with support and you'll reach myself, Tyler, a few other people.
Oh, I see. So then it'll get one of you guys. Okay,
yes,
good.
And you can also search our help library. I emphasize request a feature because what you saw in that music report sheet was actually something requested by one of the studios when we're demoing it for them. We developed it and we realized, this is a great feature that could be used by people. But we're here for you. We have people in different time zones. We are a small team, but we still respond from various time zones. Thank you all for showing up. I really appreciate you taking the hour to meet with us, and we hope to hear from you soon.